Hey 365 Pro Wrestling Nation, it's Manda Cat here, and today on our 99th episode, we have three-time Pure Wrestling Champion, former Ontario Champion, former Internet Champion, and a former Tag Team Champion. He's been thrilling the PWA fans since 2007. He is none other than EZE Eric Cairnie. Hello.
Hey, Manda Cat, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. There was a lot of formers in that introduction.
I know.
Former champion, former elite champion, former tag team champion. I don't hold any belts anymore. No, I haven't. Not in a while.
No, but like that's quite the intro, I thought.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah.
For you?
I liked it. It was good.
Yeah. Is there anything maybe like you haven't done in PWA? Like seriously, seems like you have so many championships on your belt.
Yeah, well, I think having been in it for almost from the start, not completely from the start, but haven't been in it for so long, I think it was eventually likely that I was probably going to do everything that I could in PWA. So now I just have to focus on 365.
Yes. 365 is what it is. People think that PWA is kind of the roots for 365, right? And with you being wrestling for PWA since 2007, and I think we only had 3 matches for Ontario for 365, but
yeah.
Since the doors have been closed, it's kind of sucked and everything. But, we've been trying to do this and get people's faces out there. And, it's just, you might not be able to wrestle for another 14 years with 365. You never know. You can't tell, the future and stuff like that. You might wrestle, till you're old and gray and everything. You never know until you can't really do much.
I'm going to try to outdo Reggie Marley. I'm going to just try to wrestle longer than Reggie Marley, and then I'm good. I'll leave after that.
Yeah. He's been wrestling for a really long time too, especially for PWA.
Yeah.
So, do you have any goals for 365 since you've done so much in PWA? Do you have any goals for 365?
I would just to climb the ladder, just to be on top of 365 as much as possible. I tried with PWA, and that doesn't even necessarily mean the big belt, although that's kind of the end goal, I guess. But anything I can do in any division, like I do with PWA, whether it's the tag team division or when we had the elite division with PWA. Some of the best wrestlers in Ontario came through that division to wrestle for that belt. So if there's something like that's happening with 365, we'll call it a mid-card belt, but or going all the way to the top for the big belt in 365.
Yeah. You went out to Campbellville River, right?
I did. I went out to BC. I wrestled a couple times in British Columbia. One to win the BC championship and brought it back to Ontario, and then proceeded to smash it with a hammer. But other than that, I've wrestled a couple times. Some of the up and comers from the island out there, Judas Icarus, Haviko, Nolan James, those guys. It's a lot of fun out there. It's tons of fun. So, and I would definitely do that again for 365.
Yeah. Maybe you could bring the belt back to Ontario's division over here.
That's the only way it's going to get back here, because they're not going to ship it out here for the better talent to use. You can put that on the record. The better talent is in Ontario.
Oh, big words. Well, I know everyone's antsy for a return. That's all I've been hearing about every time I go and interview and do podcasts with some of the wrestlers. They all want everything to come back for Ontario. We've been waiting and been so antsy. It's just I don't know. Do you think it's a great time to be a wrestler right now? Or like, do you think once everything gets back and everything, like,
I mean, right now it's not a great time, although the guys in the US are still doing it. And if you're under contract with ROH, Impact, AEW, WWE, obviously they're still doing it. But
yeah,
I mean, as far as Ontario Indies is concerned, no. But I think when these vaccines get rolled out and things really start opening up, I really think you're going to see a wave in independent wrestling. This surge come back with lots of people wanting to go to the shows, multiple shows. So that's the hope, anyways. But I really think you're going to see that crowd come back fairly quickly once everything opens up and the vaccines have been distributed.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think everybody's going to come back, and it's going to be such a crazy vibe. Everybody's going to be so excited to be there and so excited for the show. And, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure, on some of the wrestlers when they come back too. It's just trying to get back in that ring and get that timing and stuff. So everybody's got to train, train really hard.
Yeah, there's going to probably be some ring rust that has to be worked up for sure. Maybe guys got to start getting their cardio back up, myself included. Yeah, because it's going to hit hard when wrestling comes back, when nobody has the cardio to actually go.
Yeah, I think so. But I think, people have been trying to stay kind of upbeat and trying to, do some things, that you can't do much, but there's stuff, you can do outside where get that cardio going, even if nothing's open right now. But
yeah,
when things do return, do you have, I don't know, we'll say three. Do you have like 3 guys in 365 that you'd like to jump back in the ring with?
I'd like to see new faces as much as possible in 365. I mean, I love the guys from PWA, but I wouldn't mind bringing in some new faces and, get in the ring with a guy like Tarek or a Mark Wheeler. I mean, guys that have just stepped up their game over the last few years. They're incredible on the indie scene. Guys like that. I'd even like to see like a Trey Miguel. I would love to get in the ring with Trey Miguel from Impact Wrestling, have him in 365, and try to go toe to toe with that guy. So yeah, there's a few people I'd like to get in the ring with, but I'd like it to be a new crop almost coming in for 365.
Yeah, kind of get a new look, different perspective aspect in the ring, right? With having the new kind of blood, it's you face some big guys too. I've seen some of your matches and everything. You face some of the bigger guys that have come over.
Most of the guys are bigger than me, I think.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You are a very tall guy. You're an average guy, tall guy. But yeah, I guess some of the wrestlers, they are quite larger. But for most of the part, I feel like there's not as many larger wrestlers in wrestling nowadays as there was before.
It's definitely a different time, yeah, when it comes to the size of the wrestler. It's not the land of the giants anymore.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people would go and just to see how, large these wrestlers are and stuff. I feel like a lot of people go now for more of the actual wrestling style, like the actual sport of itself and the show and everything too.
The athleticism of it. Yeah, I think there's niche markets, I think, to wrestling. And there's a whole lot of people that like that old school. There's a whole lot of people that like that new school style. So I mean, it just depends on your crowd, I guess, that niche market. But and then there's some people that just love wrestling for the entertainment value of it. Doesn't matter if it's old school, new school, hardcore, whatever. But there's a market for everything, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's always a lot of different people coming in looking for different things and stuff. So over your 14 years of wrestling, do you have, any memories? I know, you might have some lows and you might have some highs and stuff in your wrestling.
Yeah.
But is there anything that's stayed imprinted on your memory at all?
I mean, for highs, a lot of the stuff is really just the travel with the boys, being in the locker room. I mean, I love the entertainment value and dealing with the fans and that sort of thing. But some of the best memories are just made with the boys on the road, in the locker room, joking around, that kind of stuff. For the lows, it would definitely be the neck injury, which took me out for quite some time and risked me not coming back to wrestling. So that would be the biggest low, but end up fighting through it. So we're back. We're here. Maybe not the smartest decision, but I'm here.
Yeah. How did you break your neck? Like that seems so just like so career ending.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't break it per se. What happened was I blew my C5, 6, and 7. I did cause bone spurs at the top of the spine, but blew my C5, 6, and 7 out, which then sat on my nerves for 4 months while being out of my neck. So fluke accident, no one's fault. I took a flapjack code breaker, which ended up popping all my ribs out. And the only reason I blew my C5, 6, and 7 out, according to the doctors, was because my sternum and midsection were already so loose. Had my ribs not been out, that wouldn't have happened. But because all my ribs were out when I got up for the next move, which was literally, that's what happened. As soon as I hit, blew the C5, 6, and 7 out. Didn't really feel it. I mean, I had the adrenaline rush, so I didn't really know. I just knew my chest hurt, my neck kind of hurt, but it wasn't until later that night, 3 a.m. actually. I just shot up from sleeping, couldn't breathe, chest hurt like crazy, couldn't find a position to stand in or put my arms in or anything where the pain would go away. Eventually went to see a chiropractor, which was like 12 hours later after I had tried to go to work. And he's like, oh, yeah, all your ribs are out. So he tried to pop them back in, but the swelling was too much. So it took about 6 days to actually get all the ribs back in. And once that happened, once he actually popped them all back into place, that's when my neck just felt like it was on fire. It just went from one pain to another. So the neck pain was kind of masked by the fact that all my ribs were out. And then, as soon as he got him back in, all I could feel was the neck. He did some checking on that, and which caused x-rays, which then led to MRIs and so on and so forth. But it took a while. It took about 10 months of being out of the ring. I avoided surgery, just narrowly avoided surgery. They were prepping me for a fusion surgery on the discs, and the swelling went down on the discs enough that they were able to slide back in about a week before we were supposed to schedule the surgery. And then we avoided it, obviously, and just kind of really eased back into everything. And eventually it was okay, I guess. But the disc sat on my nerves for so long that it caused muscle atrophy on my right side. So I had to try and build that back up. And I was told strength probably will never return, which it hasn't at this point. It hasn't necessarily affected me in the ring, but I just keep going with it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds like such a process. I can't even begin to think of like how much pain and how much like you went through with doctor's appointments and different things to get it all back with therapy and everything. Like, my gosh, like how long in total was it before you started, really feeling more like yourself in the ring?
It was a while. I wasn't allowed to do, while my discs were out, I wasn't allowed to do anything. Like I couldn't even do cardio, running on the treadmill, anything like that. They said would cause vibrations and the discs would move while they're outside the spine and just make everything worse. So I had to be really cautious. For about 4 months, I was sleeping sitting up because I couldn't lay down. It did take a while. I went back early too. I went back to the ring earlier than I should have, before I was actually medically cleared to go back to the ring. I did a spot or a match with PWA where basically it was a tag team match, and I really just stayed on the apron the whole time, and Ryan Swift really just did everything for me. So I really didn't have to do anything there. And then I got a phone call from Ethan Page, who asked me to wrestle Josh Alexander at an Alpha One show, and I didn't want to turn it down. So I said, yeah, I feel fine. And that was probably a mistake because I was just blown up in about 3 minutes into the match, probably earlier. That's probably giving myself credit. And Josh really just carried me through the match. But that was probably about 2 months earlier than I was supposed to go back in the ring. So it was 10 months. They did technically say I could start working out, but they did not say I could start wrestling. But I took working out as, I could be in the ring. That's fine.
Yeah. Jeez Louise, my goodness. Well, how can you really honestly turn down an opportunity to get in the ring with Josh Alexander? Like,
well, that's the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the new X Division champion right now in Impact too, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
So that's great. Good for him, you know. But for you, like to get back in the ring so much earlier, like that shows a lot of bravery, I guess. You know, you really trust that person getting in the ring with them. So
yeah, I mean, I had to change a little bit, I guess, of maybe who I trusted to do certain things. But you know, a lot of the guys, especially in Ontario, have been trained properly, and I do trust them to do certain things. So I know you take your life in your hands anyways, and you put a lot of trust in that guy regardless. But when there's an injury involved, or a prior injury involved, you really put that trust level even higher. So, but yeah, I don't think anybody's malicious and nobody's reckless that I've been in the ring with after this injury. So I just kind of pick and choose my battles, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's a good way of putting it. You know, like you got to trust the person if you even want to get in the ring. Like I see you take fisherman busters off the top rope. Like, how does that feel?
Yeah, you know what? It's not too bad. I mean, obviously that fall hurts anyways, but yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, now I don't really feel a lot of my neck when I'm in the ring. A lot of it is afterwards or day-to-day stuff. If I'm driving for long hours, that's when I really feel it. When I'm in the ring, not so much. So those high falls off the top rope and stuff like that, it's not affecting the injury as much as it just hurts to take that fall. So the neck injury, the vibration, that kind of thing, I don't feel that when I'm in the ring anymore, which is nice. So that's been because it's been about 5 years now since that injury. April 2016 is when it happened.
Okay. All right. Well, it's still 5 years. You know, I'm sure it's still like you said, every day you feel that. But I think maybe when you're in the ring, you just have so much adrenaline and you're feeling the vibes from the crowd. Yeah. You're like, you know, screw it. I'm just going to go in there and do what I love, right?
Exactly. So. Adrenaline's a hell of a drug. So that's why I didn't feel it when it happened the first time.
Oh, really? The first time you were just like, whatever. Did that not like throw you off at all? Like we were like, aren't I supposed to feel this?
Well, I've been not that extent of hurt in the ring, but you come out after and a few hours later, you're like, oh, I hurt my arm, hurt my leg, whatever. But you don't notice when you're in the ring. And in that match where it happened, that flapjack and the code breaker was the finish. And then the next move was actually my tag team partner, Gregory Iron, had turned on me because we lost the match. And when he hit me with his flatliner, that's what blew everything out. But I didn't feel the ribs come out, and I didn't feel the discs come out until much later.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you didn't feel that. Like it would just be like an odd placement. I don't know, but like you said, adrenaline is an amazing drug.
yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. So your muscle, is it a trophy? Is that how you say it? A trophy?
Atrophy, muscle atrophy.
Atrophy. Thank you. Muscle atrophy in your arm. How does that like hinder you in matches? Like
now, not so much. When the discs were out for that 4 or 5 month period, and even afterwards because of the nerve damage, I would drop a lot of stuff. Like I'd be holding a glass and it would slip out of my hands because I would lose the feeling in my fingers. Didn't know that I wasn't holding the glass anymore until it fell.
Yeah.
So within that year, it was a problem, and a little bit afterwards. Now, if I sit in certain positions, I'll still get that pins and needles, that numbness into my right arm. But as far as in the ring, no. When there's any sort of adrenaline or I'm in any sort of athletic motion, like whether it be hockey or football or doing anything where I'm just even screwing around with my buddies, playing basketball, whatever. I don't feel that, so I don't feel it in the ring either. It hasn't hindered me in any way. Which is good because dropping a glass is one thing, but losing feeling in your arm and dropping a person would be much worse.
Yeah,
So
I don't think they would appreciate that too much.
No. And if that was the case, if that was going to happen during these times, and like when I was wrestling, and the doctor said, yeah, this is probably going to happen. Like you're going to lose feeling while you're wrestling. That might have been a different decision on coming back, because I would never put myself into a position where I'm the reason that I could possibly cause harm to someone that's out of my control. And if my arm went numb, that would be out of my control. So I once they told me that it you'd be fine in the ring and that sort of thing, then I was okay to come back. And they also told me that the wrestling won't necessarily be the cause of my discs blowing out again, although it could happen. They said I could fall asleep on the couch the wrong way and it could happen. I could bump somebody on the street and it could happen. So if it's going to happen that easily, I might as well just wrestle. And if it happens again, it happens again. And we look at surgery and then maybe retirement. But you never know. Well, they also said it could never happen again. So you never know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the future, it really is. But as long as I'm sure you're careful, as hard it is as it is probably in a daily life for you to be careful. But if you could be careful, like I'm sure you could get through life without having to deal with that. So.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, sometimes in wrestling, you can mess up and accidents happen, and
yep.
You just pray that and trust that person as much as possible in the ring. So
yeah, exactly.
So do you have any advice for somebody maybe that's injured, or, somebody that's going through an injury, since you've been through all of this, do you have any advice for them? Like help them out?
Yeah, I would make sure you if you think it's a serious injury, you want to look into it. I mean, you don't want to risk damaging yourself even more. I believe in fighting through the pain and stuff like that, and I believe there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. And if you're hurt, you can fight through that. If you're injured, you need to look into it and see the doctor, or see the chiropractor, see whoever you need to see. My chiropractor works with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, so he was the first guy I went to see when I was in so much pain that I couldn't take it anymore. And he's the one who basically narrowed down everything that was going on, and he was the one who also walked me through what the surgery would be like if we went that route and that sort of thing. So much more than what any doctor that I saw for the MRI or anything like that said to me. So find someone that you trust, that knows the injuries. For in the line of wrestling, find a sports doctor. Find somebody who specializes in it. Your family doctor will recommend them, you as a patient, to them. So just get on that. I mean, we live in Canada. Everything's free. Give her.
Pretty much, right? So, yeah. And that for you, obviously you get this big time doctor, Mr. EZE gets to have the Tiger Cat chiropractor.
he just works with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He's been in Hamilton for years. So if there's anybody in Hamilton who wants an awesome chiropractor, Dr. Barry Young at Absolute Wellness, He's fantastic. He's the one that kept me wrestling. Honestly, he's taken so much of my back, neck, arm pain away, just from 5-minute sessions with him. It's incredible.
That's good. That's good. Well, you know, like I'm glad that he could help you out and you could get back to the ring and do something that you love.
Yeah, me too.
Right. So, while it's been possible, you know, while things were kind of going, you know, I know it's been hard for wrestling people to get out there and do what they love, but New School Wrestling was having some shows and events during the pandemic when, like I said, when it was possible, and you were part of them.
Mm-hmm.
So congrats that you got to get out there. How did it feel to get into the ring again after having like been sidelined, I guess you could say, for like a year?
It was good. It was enjoyable. I mean, the first one, when Hamilton was allowed to just slightly open up and have those outdoor events and stuff like that, NSW was very cautious, followed all the rules, despite what other people on the internet might say. But yeah, they did the first outdoor show. Everybody had to stay in their cars, so the cars all surrounded the ring. It was kind of cool that way. So actually by law even showed up and there wasn't a problem with it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to be back out in front of the crowd. He started running pay-per-views after that once we really went into the lockdowns and not allowed to have fans and stuff like that. And again, did it in such a way when he was filming his shows that, you know, only part of the wrestling crew were in the building at a time, and then the second half of the show would be the rest of the guys. So he did it quite safely and quite well. And that part was a little bit weird, wrestling in front of no fans, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's something you get used to, I guess. But
it's hard to pick up, you know, the energy of the crowd to like see kind of what
that's the biggest issue.
Right?
Yeah, you don't have that same energy. I mean, the adrenaline's still there just from the athleticism of the match and getting the blood going and stuff like that. But that feeding off the crowd isn't there, which is definitely weird when you're used to wrestling in front of a crowd, even if it's only 15 people. If those 15 people are into it, it's the same energy as, you know, wrestling in front of 1,000 people if they're really into it and they want it, right?
Yeah, I get that. Like, could you feel the energy even if they were like sitting in the car? Because you said they were all sitting in the car, right?
Well, they were allowed to. Some of them were sitting in the car. Some of them they were allowed to like back their cars up, and then some of them were sitting like they had hatchbacks and they were sitting in the trunk. Some of them were in their pickup trucks, similar to like a drive-in movie. A lot of them brought lawn chairs. They would back their truck up and just or back their car up and sit there at the back of the car, but far enough away from the ring that it didn't affect anything. They were much further than I think even 10 feet away. So it was I mean that was fun. Some guys stayed in their car. They're honking their horn and stuff like that. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was still a little bit different, but it was no different than maybe doing like a fair show, an early morning fair show where not a lot of people were there yet, type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's so great that they had the opportunity to get out there and be able to do that for people. Because I'm sure everybody, even if it was like you said, like if it was only like a couple people, like they still love that, enjoyed that, because you guys get to go out and entertain them, and they get to experience that.
Yeah.
So also, just before everything was happening, you were training with CWF.
Yeah.
Out of St. Catharines.
Yep.
So how was that? Like, being in the ring training, like, did you have any ring rust at all going on?
I had a lot of cardio rust. Yeah, it's I mean, cardio, I've always said cardio is not universal. So as much as I want to ride a stationary bike or run the treadmill or do whatever, when you get in the ring, you start going hard. especially with some of these guys who have not lost their cardio over this pandemic. It really blows you up, but it's eye opening. So I got in there. Again, smaller classes. We weren't really running big classes because we weren't allowed to. So it's only a few of us in the ring at a time, and then then a couple hours later, another group of people would come in and train when we left. But it was a lot of cardio, more so than even performing the moves properly. And just being able to keep up for that time frame that we were attempting to go hard at the beginning. It was a lot of, all right, let's do this, and then we broke for a while until we could get our cardio back up. But no, it was good. And then unfortunately, turned around and got shut down again. So
yeah, but even that. Like if you're doing a little bit, like you said, you're doing a little bit and taking a break. That's still like getting into it. You got to work at it slowly. Yeah. You can't just go hardcore in and like you'll kill yourself.
Well, yeah, older Eric knows that. But if it was 10 or 12 years ago, I would have just gone hard until I got injured. But yeah, no, I know that I can't do that now. I have to take my time and pace myself and really get into it.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not far behind you, so I feel that too. Even just getting out of bed every morning.
Yeah, some days it's rough.
Yeah. I bet. So because you've been you've been kind of feeling all that and stuff, like I heard that you were getting into some commentating. You were commentating for WF.
I was, awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was actually an accident, me getting into it. They were running a show. Again, it was similar. It was right after I guess one of the lockdowns ended. They were only allowed 10 people in the building. So it's a very small show, 10 fans at kind of separate tables. And the commentator, who was Corey Motley at the time, he works for a radio station and unfortunately got called into his real job for the radio station. So he couldn't make the show, and I just happened to show up to watch. I just knew the show was going on. I asked if there was space. There was. So I showed up to watch it, and it just so happens that Corey Motley couldn't go. So Chris Thorne asked me if I would do it. Ended up loving the commentary. I had a blast with it and gelled really well with Zeus, who is the play-by-play guy for CWF. And it just kind of spiraled from there. And then, obviously Corey came back for the next show. So because we film multiple shows at a time for CWF, we just kind of switched out. So Zeus stayed on as main, and every once in a while Corey would take a few matches and then I would take a few matches, and we would split it up as if it was different weeks.
Yeah, that makes sense. So with it being like kind of like a different perspective on it, like have you learned much from it? Like, you said you only did it a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you definitely learn to work with the person that's the play-by-play. It's so hard when you're not used to it to have that separation between color commentary and your play-by-play guy, because you don't want to be overstepping your boundaries and calling the same move that just happened. You want a little bit of banter back and forth, and I've known Zeus for a while, so for us the chemistry was there. We could banter back and forth. He makes fun of me, I make fun of him. A very old school kind of Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler feel is what I got working with him.
Yeah.
Because I could play a little bit more of a heel, which is what I am in CWF. Anyway, what I was in CWF. They're a little bit shy about bringing me in with a neck injury, but I've been talking to Chris Thorne about that anyways. So I think eventually I will be back in CWF, but right now just commentating, which is fine. I love it. I love doing it, and it's I enjoy being able to sit back and as much as I want to be in the ring when I'm at a show watching it, when I'm on commentary I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm part of the show, and I can really put these guys over or make fun of him. I mean, I make fun of a Jesse Bieber a lot when he's in the ring, but I mean,
well, you've always had that type of personality, you know, you like, even in the ring, you've got like that, you know, like you're entitled to it, but you've got a very like cocky attitude right when you're in there. And so like for you to bring that, you could bring that into your commentating. I think it would really work for you.
I do. It's just another aspect of the business that I really enjoyed, and I've reffed before.
Yeah.
I've refereed a show, and that was a ton of fun. I mean, I refereed a show a long time ago before I was even really in the business, because Eddie Osborne asked me to do it when I was training. Yeah. But it was much different knowing the business, knowing match styles, and even the styles of the wrestlers in the ring. And being able to referee a match, several matches on a show, that was a ton of fun for me. Although I don't think anybody will ever see the tape, because Eddie Osborne is really not happy that I refereed the show, because I was former champion when I did it, but I agreed to do it because I thought it'd be a ton of fun, and it was. So there, Eddie Osborne.
Oh shit! So you just set it right up to him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He knows, it's fine.
Okay. All right. That's cool. So do you think maybe like once you maybe don't want to be in the ring anymore, do you think maybe you'll gravitate towards like something like that, like refereeing or commentating or something else or something like?
That would be cool to still stay in the business. Oh, I can see at the bottom what he's doing there. EZE wore his favorite Shawn Michaels shorts to referee for the Carrot Fest. That's true. I did. Little black biker shorts. Did it on purpose because I'm a Shawn Michaels mark. Okay. He got me back. Good for you, Eddie. Yeah, I think.
Now I really want to see those videos.
I think I would like to stay in the business. Yeah, I think leaving it would be hard for me. I've thought about it. I've been doing it for 14 years, and I regret a lot of stuff, like not sending anything in to, like, not sending my tapes or anything in to anybody. Even if I wasn't going to get a contract or a dark match or anything like that, at least I get feedback from the top companies, the ROHs, the Impacts, the WWEs. Now, if I did it, the AEWs, but back in the day, it just I regret not doing that. Now I'm 36. I suppose I still have a little bit of time if I want to send something in, but older, the injuries are there. I'm prone to more injuries because of the age and because of the damage I put on my body. So I don't know. I don't. It's always been. Yeah, but every time I look at it, I think, okay, well, I could walk away. But I think I would regret that decision too. I think that part of me will always want to stay in the business, even if it's at the independent level, and help guys out, help younger guys out, help promotions out, commentate for people. I'd referee for companies. I could be the next Old School and just keep reffing till I'm like 70. I don't even know how old Old School is, but yeah, I could just referee forever. Although he's in much better shape than me. It's crazy. He does the Zumba. It's insanity. So he's got way more cardio than I do. But yeah, I think some capacity, even if an independent wrestling promotion wanted to bring me in as an agent, not that indie wrestlers or indie promotions do that, but I would definitely come into the back and help younger guys as I get older, and assuming I don't lose how the business is operating and I can tell them how to plan a match properly. But if there's like a new school wrestling, I don't know, maybe I'll just be out. But yeah, I think I would like to stay in some capacity, as long as I could anyways.
Yeah, you could even open up, like, your own training school.
Oh, somewhere. So much pressure. There's so much pressure there. And I feel like there's a wrestling school everywhere. I don't know. Everybody there's so many people training people. Know. Yeah, that's true. We could see what happens.
Well, you have also started on a new adventure, I've heard. You started doing a daily podcast called Good Brother. morning, Good
Yep.
Brother Morning, right?
Yep.
Podcast, right? Every day.
Every day now, not weekends, but yeah.
Well, okay, every weekday. We'll say
Yes,
that.
yes.
And you do it with Joe Halem and Rex Atkins.
Yep.
So how did that all start up? Like, what kind of possessed you to want to start that? And where can people listen to it if they want to listen?
Well, nothing actually possessed me to do it. This was a Rex Atkins thing. Way back in September, we were doing the fat fuck competition, and the 7 of us were trying to lose weight, and we all went on Rex Atkins' podcast, and which was What You Talking About. And we got a lot of feedback from people who listened to it about how good Rex and I were together, specifically. And then we just kind of started talking, and Rex really wanted to do this kind of half-hour podcast, so we didn't have to sit there for 2 hours talking to anybody, anything like that. Really just kind of shoot the shit with guys that we haven't seen in a long time, or guys like some of the guys we've had on. We did an ECW week, which was awesome. So just kind of shoot the shit with other wrestlers, and keep it really light, like as if we were in the locker room, just kind of talking about whatever. So it started off really good. We got a lot of good feedback about that. We had Joe Dog Hallam on to, I feel like it was the inaugural episode, actually. And he was awesome. And he's a super funny guy anyways. Been around the business for a while, does stand-up comedy, and Joe, Rex, and I click really well anyways, together separately. So we asked him to come on and be a third host to the show. He was all for it, and it just kind of spiraled from there. And so I mean, some of the stuff we did in All Women's Week to kind of spotlight some of the women that are around. We had Caitlin Diamond, we had Bia, Cece Moss, Emily Parker, who's a referee out on the East Coast. Just so many amazing talents, and a bunch that we'd want to put on, but we just didn't have the time. I mean, there's so many other talented girls out there, Alexia, Nova, stuff like that we didn't even have a chance to get on. But eventually, hopefully, we'll ask, and hopefully they'll say yes. Then we went to like an ECW week, so we've had just a ton of fun with it. And it's really, for us, it's really just like we're on the road shooting the shit in the locker room. And that's we tried to keep it as light as possible, half hour. Some of them have gone longer, but we just started getting a lot of really good feedback from the boys, from some of the fans. So we just kept it going. So hopefully we keep it going after the pandemic is over, and we're back at shows. We'd like to do like on live location podcasts, have live audience, so the fans come in early, they can listen to the podcast for half an hour, and then they get a wrestling show. So we're hoping to really kind of expand it, because it's been just a ton of fun, and it's really just three buddies having a good time. Yeah,
well, it's very entertaining. I enjoy listening to it. I will admit I do listen here and there.
Nice.
When I get the chance. I do have, busy days when I don't get to hear it, but I hear most of them, and they are very entertaining. I do like them. You guys do have a lot of chemistry. I think that'd be great if you guys started kind of doing almost like a kickoff panel before that'd be cool. Yeah. That'd be awesome. I think that'd be awesome before the show. I think fans would come in just to hear that for sure. So
yeah, I think it would be good.
Yeah. So have you, you said you had a lot of people on and stuff like that. Do you think you could tell me who's your favorite?
Oh, that's tough. That's so everybody's feelings are going to be hurt. Who's my favorite? I'm a big fan of, I was a big fan of CW Anderson. So when we did that ECW week, and Rex told me he had Anderson, that was really cool for me. That ECW week was a lot of fun, but if I had to say my favorite, I'm probably CW Anderson. I mean, the guys from Ontario though, they're so much fun. Having like John Greed on was a ton of fun. Talking to Josh Alexander was awesome. So we've talked to all these guys, and really every episode I've really enjoyed. But if the mark in me wanted to come out, yeah, it was probably C.W. Anderson.
Okay. All right. That's all right. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed.
I'm not ashamed. I love him. He's great.
All right. Well, you know what? I do enjoy them. So I hope that you guys do continue them. And, I think it would be awesome to do the podcast before the shows. I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun. I think we'd get at least 4 people interested. That's all we need.
I think you'd have more too. I think you'd have more. Don't worry about it. And if not, then those 4 people will be your top fans. You'll do it just
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, you can if you want to listen, if you're listening to this, you want to listen to Good Brother Morning, anywhere you get your podcasts, so Spotify, Apple, iTunes, anything like that, or you can subscribe to patreon.com/Good Brother Morning, because we do a special Friday episode where you can only get it there, or if you want to watch any of the video content from any of the pods throughout the week, Monday to Thursday, you can find it on patreon.com/Good Brother Morning.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. And I'm sure lots of people will start listening more.
Perfect.
Now that they know where it is.
Right.
So, also we're getting kind of near the ending, so I'm sorry. But,
no, that's okay.
Do you want to add anything else in here, or mention anything else to people out there that you didn't get to say during the podcast? I know we did.
No.
Little brief.
Yeah. No, I mean, just not that I use Twitter a lot, but hit me up on Twitter, EZE Eric Cairnie, Facebook Eric Cairnie, Instagram EZE Eric Cairnie. Yes, I'll hopefully start using Twitter a bit more than I do. I try to promote Good Brother Morning there, so. But yeah, I'd like to start using social media more, anyways, especially when wrestling comes back. So yeah, hit us up there, but follow Good Brother Morning. Those are the points we need to take away from here.
Yes. Awesome.